looking into lesson number 46 from the first lessons book by Julio Sagreras. Getting the lay of the land before starting to play a piece helps a lot with the learning process of it. So let's take a quick preview of what we will be dealing with in lesson 46. If you're looking at the score and feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the number of notes in it, do not worry. This 8-measure long piece primarily uses one left hand position per measure. Each measure has 12 notes in it, but we only need the first 4 to establish the left hand position, which we will hold throughout the measure while playing the finger picking pattern. Measure 7 is an exception, as it has one chord change inside of it, requiring 2 different left-hand positions and a shift between them inside the measure. The first 6 notes give us the first position, and the next 6 notes give us the other. However, the finger picking pattern is going to remain the same. So we know that the first 4 notes are going to give us the left-hand position. So let's read them. We have the A on the open 5th string, the A on the 3rd string, fret 2, C on string number 2, fret number 1, and E on the 1st open string. Yes, and then we apply the finger picking pattern, which is thumb, index, middle, ring, index, middle. And we repeat it, thumb, index, middle, ring, index, middle. I will do it again without pauses and without speaking. During the entire piece, index is going to be playing string number 3, middle is going to be playing string number 2, and ring finger is going to be playing string number 1. The only finger that is going to be changing the string it plucks is the thumb, sometimes the 5th, sometimes the 4th, sometimes the 6th. Measure number 2, we have open 6th string for the E. String number 3, fret number 1 gives us the G sharp. Open 2nd gives us the B, and the open 1st gives us the E. And that's the position for the entire measure, to which we're going to apply the finger picking pattern. So it's going to be thumb on the 6th string, index on the 3rd, middle on the 2nd, ring on the 1st, index on the 3rd, middle on the 2nd. And we repeat it, thumb, index, middle, ring, index, middle. I'm going to play the entire measure without pauses and without speaking. A few reminders before moving on to the next section. The right hand tried to start the movement of the fingers from the knuckles and not from the middle joint, and try to produce the sound with movement only of the fingers and super little or not at all movement from the hand. What do I mean by the hand? So if I do this, I am using too much of the hand to produce the movement. Ideally, the hand would have a very small movement, and most of the sound will be produced by the fingers alone. That's the basic idea of how the mechanism of the sound production goes. Let's see the transitioning from measure 1 to measure 2. So we are in the position on measure 1, which has us with finger 1 on string 2, fret 1, and finger 2, string 3, fret 2. And we're going to go to the next position, which is only one finger 1 on string number 3, fret number 1. So finger 2 is going to step off, and finger 1 is going to go 1 string higher. Let's look at it. Another thing to have in mind is that we have a little rest, a quarter note rest at the beginning of measure 2, aligned with the bass note, which means the higher voice is going to have a rest, a silence there, which is good for us because we can use that silence and the sound of the open 6th string to move finger 1 from string 2 to string 1. As we play string 6 and the sound is active, we can transition from string number 2 to string number 1 calmly and comfortably without having to rush. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to stretch my fingers so finger 1 is more visible. You don't have to do this when you play, by the way. This is only for clarity of visuals for the tutorial. And that's how to transition from the first measure to the second. Let's go to the third measure. The first 4 notes give us the position, which is open 6 for the E on the bass, then G sharp on string number 3, fret number 1, D on string number 2, fret number 3, and E on the first string. Finger picking pattern remains the same, and the thumb is going to pluck string number 6. So it is thumb, index, middle, ring, index, middle, again thumb, index, middle, ring, index, middle. And that's measure number 3. Now, transitioning from measure number 2 to measure number 3 is quite easy actually, because we're going to keep finger 3 in the same spot and we are only going to add finger 4. Now, this does have a little bit of a challenge because finger 4 doesn't usually want to work, so it's kind of lazy at the beginning of guitar training. So controlling it and pressing with it might be challenging for a beginner, but with practice, you will get it if this is the case for you. So going from measure number 2, we are playing this, and then we only add finger 4 to get the position on measure number 3. Measure 5 is actually the exact same position as measure 1. So we have open 5th, string 3, fret 2, string 2, fret 1, and open 1st. The name of the notes are A, C, E. And to that position we apply the finger picking pattern. Thumb, index, middle, ring, index, middle, P, I, M, A, I, M. To transition from measure number 3 to measure number 4, we have the advantage that finger 2, which we need for measure number 4, is free when we are playing measure number 3. So as we play measure number 3, or the second half of it, finger 2 is completely free, which makes it so that we can go to its note calmly, without any rush. One thing that is going to help you do it with less effort is to have finger 2 prepared all the way from the previous measure. So as we play measure number 3, finger 2 is already hovering string number 3 and fret number 2, and it goes down smoothly when the time is right. And one more thing to have in mind to make it easier for you to transition from measure 3 to measure 4 is the work that finger 1 has to do. So on measure number 3, finger 1 is pressing string number 3, fret number 1, and in the next position we need it in string number 2, fret number 1. But we don't need it immediately. Finger 1 is needed at the 3rd note of the measure, so it doesn't have to rush to its place. Let's see it in action. We play open 5th, 3rd string, and then we get finger 1 to its place. Let's do it again. And that is it. Measure number 5, we have open 5th string, that's an A, open 3rd for the G, string number 2, fret number 2 for the C sharp, and finally the E on the open 1st string. And everything else is going to happen with the finger picking pattern. Thumb, index, middle, ring, index, middle, thumb, index, middle, ring, index, middle. The transition from measure number 5 to measure number 6 goes like this. We play measure number 5, the ending of it, and then we play open 5th, open 3rd, and we press finger 2 on string 2, fret 2. I'm going to do it again a little bit slower. We are playing the ending of measure number 5. Finger 2 is on string 3, fret 2, and we lift it when we play the open 5th, beginning measure number 6. We lift, we have open 3rd, and then we bring finger number 2 down to string number 2, fret number 2, and pluck it, and then open 1st, and that's the full position of the left hand, so we just have to keep playing the finger picking pattern. Measure number 6 goes like this. Open 4th for the D, string number 3, fret number 2 for the A, string number 2, fret number 3 with finger 3 for the D, and finger 1 goes on string 1, fret 1 for the F. That is a left hand position, which is a D minor chord. And now we apply the finger picking pattern: thumb, index, middle, ring, index, middle, thumb, index, middle, ring, index, middle. And that's measure number 6. To transition from measure number 5 to measure number 6, the key is going to be on finger 2. That goes from fret number 2 on string 2 to fret number 2 again, but on string 3. And it is the first finger that we are going to be pressing with on the new measure, on the new position, the D minor chord. So we are going to be playing the ending of measure number 5. And then we play the open 4th, and we lift the finger and bring it to string number 3. We lower finger 3 on string number 2, and then we lower finger 1 on string number 1. And then we continue the finger picking pattern. Let's see that again in slow motion. And that is a transition from measure number 5 to 6. Measure number 7 has 2 left hand positions in it. The first one, we're going to need finger 1 on string 2, fret 1, and finger 2 on string number 3, fret number 2. Our right hand is going to perform the finger picking pattern, playing the 6th string with the thumb. So it is going to be string number 6, 3, 2, 1, 3, and 2. The second position only uses finger 1 on string number 3, fret number 1. So we bring it from string number 2 to string number 1. We're going to use open string number 6, 2, and 1. So the finger picking pattern goes string number 6, 3, 2, 1, 3, and 2. Let's see that again with the code of the name of the fingers of the right hand. P, I, M, A, I, M, P, I, M, A, I, M. You may have noticed that these 2 positions have already occurred in the past. The first position of this measure, number 7, is actually the very first position of the entire piece. The only difference is that in measure number 1, the thumb plays the open 5th string, and in measure number 7, the thumb plays string number 6. And now let's see the transition from measure 6 to 7. This has something very cool. Well, it is cool to me. I hope it is also for you. The position in measure number 6 is the D minor, and the key here is finger 2. Finger 2 is on string number 3, fret number 2, in this D minor chord, and it is going to be needed in the same place for the first position of the next measure. However, measure number 7 has a rest indicated at the beginning of it for the higher part. So we need to mute that string over there. The idea is going to be to have finger 2 quit the pressure on string 3, but not lose the contact with it. So we're pressing it, and then we lift it without losing the contact with string 3. This is going to make it a lot easier to get to the following position. So the ending of measure number 6 goes like this. Then we lift finger 3 and 1 and keep finger 2 in its place without pressing. And then we play string number 6 and press with finger 2 and add finger 1. Finally, measure number 8 is exactly the same as measure number 1. That is open 5th, string 3 fret 2, string 2 fret 1, and open 1st. The only difference with measure number 1 is that the second half of it doesn't have the full finger picking pattern, we stop at the thumb, at the bass note. So measure number 8 goes like this. And before we go, let's see the transition from the ending of measure number 7 to measure number 8. In measure number 7, the second half of it has finger 1 on string 3 fret 1. The way to make it easier to get to the position on measure 8 is to have our fingers prepared. Finger 2 is going to be hovering over string 3 fret number 2 without touching the string, just hovering above it, to be ready to get down to press on it when the time is due. So we're playing the ending of measure 7. Finger 2 is ready. We play string 5 open, and then we bring finger 2 to press string number 3. And then we lower finger 1 from string 3 to string 2. And we pluck it with the middle, and then the first string. And we complete the finger picking pattern. And we end with the thumb on the 5th string. And that is it for lesson 46. And that's lesson 46, the second one with a 4-finger picking pattern in Sagreras' first lessons book. It is also the longest lesson so far, and it may feel like a lot to take on at once. If this has happened to you, worry not. As Julius Caesar used to say, divide and conquer. So take the entire lesson and divide it in smaller size, maybe 2 measures long, maybe 4 measures long, whichever option makes you feel more comfortable with it, and make these mini lessons that you tackle one at a time. This can also help with avoiding frustration and keeping the learning process fun. Just as lesson 40 and 41, and also as lessons 44 and 45, lesson 46 has a pairing lesson to go with, and that is lesson 47. Lesson 46 and 47 share the same left hand positions and use a different finger picking pattern. So practicing both lessons in the same practice session can actually boost your overall progress and also keeps things fresh and fun. It's time for me to go. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Enjoy the process and happy practice.